Hey, what's up? This is Lionel Williams, your failure coach. And today I want to talk about how failure is the best thing that could ever happen to you. Listen, when I started this YouTube channel, the goal in my mind was to have 1 million views and, you know, everyone watching and subscribing and doing podcasts with some of the most famous people in the world. And then I woke up a few days ago and I noticed that probably 14 people watched my video, which is kind of crazy. But for me, that is okay. And here's why. I once heard a quote. It said this: people will often be jealous of what you have, but they won't be jealous of what you had to go through to get it. Listen, we live in a world where everyone seems to just be winning. I mean, you can scroll through social media and it feels like you are drowning in success stories. I mean, I have seen people traveling to the south of France, hopping on private jets. I know you see people, 22 years old with Lamborghinis and Bentleys, and they made $1 million by the age of 7, right? It is always constantly thrown in our face, 24/7. But what they don't show you is the other side of the mountain. My friend and my mentor once said, there's always a backside to the blessing. But what they don't show you is the nights of crying and wondering how in the world they're going to make it. And that side of success is what people tend to skip over. Let me give you this idea. Let's say that Steve Jobs woke up every single morning and read 10 books and meditated for an hour and then did a cold plunge and was able to kind of get to work by 7:30 in the morning. And he created the greatest company in the world, Apple. Just because you do the very same thing does not mean you're going to become a billionaire or create Apple. But it does mean that you can become a better version of yourself. If you get nothing from this video, I want you to get this. Comparison is the thief of joy. When you start comparing yourself to other people, you are stealing from yourself. You're robbing yourself of the lesson life is trying to teach you and the growth that's waiting for you. Listen, if you launched a coaching program and it failed, or you applied to 1,000 businesses and unfortunately you didn't get a job interview, or maybe you decided to go into real estate and you bought an amazing piece of property thinking you're going to make millions, and in fact, you're underwater right now trying to figure out how you're going to get out of this. Unlike the success stories maybe that you see online, it didn't come to pass. But does that mean that you failed? Some people would say yes, but I say no. And here are the 3 reasons why I believe failing into success is what makes your story amazing. Number 1, small wins are still wins. If you have just one more follow, or one more book sold, or one more opportunity created, or maybe even one more idea, that is progress. Don't measure your success by the metric systems that don't even exist. Listen, the same fear of failure that you face every single day is the same fear of failure that the people we look to as successful face. The only difference is they learned how to manage it a little bit differently. Number 2, your story is your story. Everybody isn't dealt with the very same hand, but at least you're in the game and you have to own your own path. And number 3, success comes to the authentic. Finding what's truly yours to do in life will bring you so much more joy than trying to chase after something that you were never called to do in the first place. How many people do we know who may have wealth but are so unhappy? Somebody once said, I don't care how big the house is. If you hate everybody on the inside, it's not worth it. I don't care how big the bed is. If you're not happy sleeping to the next person that you're with, it's not even worth it. Create and become the best version of yourself, and do and become who you're called to be, and not what you think other people want you to become. Listen, I want you to walk in your authentic self. And yes, you might become a billionaire. And if you do, I can't wait to interview you in the future. But if you work 10 times harder than the next billionaire and you still don't become one, maybe even 1,000-aire or 100-aire, that is okay. because you're so much better, because your story is yours to share. And somebody wants to learn a lesson from your experience. And it's only you who can tell that story. My grandfather used to say this back in the day: taught sense is so much better than bought sense. In other words, I'd rather learn from the mistakes of others than have to experience them for myself. Listen, your journey isn't slower, it's just different. People who rush the process oftentimes regret missing the beauty of the journey. When I was younger, I could not wait to get older. When I was 8, I wanted to be 18. When I was 15, I wanted to be 30. And now that I'm around that age, I wish I could become younger again. So what's the lesson? Don't rush. Fail. Make mistakes. Your greatest story is not in what you've acquired, but what you learned along the way. Number 1, avoid comparison. It is your biggest enemy. Number 2, avoid triggers. Maybe you have to separate yourself from the things that trigger you the most. That might mean hopping off of social media or unfollowing certain people. Remember, your story is your story. It's not theirs. Never put yourself in a position or a place that make you feel like you're not enough. And lastly, number 3, fail into success. Because what makes your story so worth telling, no one else can tell a story like you. No one else is going to walk the path that you're walking. So stop trying to do what everyone else is doing and start embracing your own experience of what you've been able to accomplish. Remember this: you cannot do what everyone else is doing, but no one can do what you can do. Your path is so unique, and your success will only come from your mistakes and from your failures. Be the greatest version of yourself, and don't forget to fail. Hey, I wonder, have you ever felt like you are failing in life? Maybe things are not coming together the way you wish they were. That is okay. Listen, I want you to do me a favor. Comment down below and let me know what your failure was or how you're feeling. And I want to know that I'm not the only person that feels this way. And I promise you, I will comment back. I want to hear your journey and what you've learned, because taught sense is better than bought sense. And your experience might just help somebody else. Or maybe you can share this video with other people. Subscribe and share it, because there's so many life lessons that we can learn. I want to build this platform so that someone in 20 or 30 years who's having a tough day, or didn't get the job, or the marriage is on the rocks and is wondering how they're going to make it, can look at these videos and be reminded that this is not the end of their story, but the beginning. I'm so excited that you're able to be a part of this journey with me as we learn and we grow together in failure and in success. Remember, it's okay to fail. The goal is to fail into success. Hey, this is Lionel Williams.